Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to episode 14 of the Perfect Genetics Challenge, Generation 1. Olivia is the founder for this challenge. She has the purple and multicoloured hair and purple eyes. Her spouse is Don. They must have babies until they get an heir who has the same hair and eye colours as Olivia. The challenge will continue for 10 generations, and this is Generation 1. Olivia has the dislikes children trait, as she must have as being the founder. And we have 3 little boys already. They're all toddlers. And if you look very closely, you'll see we're getting quite a rainbow collection of colours between their skin colour and their hair colours. Particularly Owen, who's got quite a variety of colours in his hair. Now here we can see baby or toddler Owen playing with his peg box, and in the background we can see the garden. I put the greenhouse windows there in the nursery wall so that we could see the parents working in the garden, and the parents could keep an eye on their toddlers. And at the moment Don is working in the garden, building his gardening skill while he takes care of the plants. Now, I was hoping for a little girl, but Owen turned out to be another little boy. I do have mods. I've got NRAS story progression, and in it I have set options, pregnancy, and the gender of the baby is to be random. By default it is balanced, but I've changed it to random. That way I can use apples or watermelons to choose the gender of the next baby. And of course I want a girl, so it'll be watermelons. Olivia will be snacking on watermelons as soon as she becomes pregnant with baby number 4. It won't affect the colour of the baby's hair or which parent it takes after. It will just make sure she has a girl next. Now Don has taken on the large share of parenting duties. Olivia does do a little bit of it, but she has the dislikes children trait, so she doesn't spend quite as much time in the nursery as Don does. Of course, they're both in the culinary career, but I've noticed that as soon as she gives birth, she goes straight back to work and Don stays home and takes care of the babies. Now, I don't know if that's because of their traits or if it's because she is much further advanced in the career than Don is. He's just started. Now, I put her in that career so she could meet him, and I put him in that career because his lifetime wish is to be a celebrated 5-star chef, because I want him to get the fridge. That is the reward for getting to the top of that career. And yes, they do take the babies outside in the rain because they get there's a mod that gets the desire to go and play in a puddle. There's a huge puddle right down the back, so I've got to keep an eye on them to stop the babies or the toddlers from going down in the rain to the back boundary of their allotment and playing in the puddle. And being such excellent parents, whenever the toddler gets the wish to go and play in a puddle, one of the parents is likely to pick it up and take it down there and plonk it in the puddle. Now, we don't have an heir yet, and therefore she needs to have another baby, at least one more. There could be a dozen more yet. And she's not pregnant because at the end of the last episode she gave birth to little Owen, and we aged him up immediately to see if he had her hair or not. And he doesn't have her hair or her eyes. So it's try for baby time. And we hear the chime, so she's now pregnant. Very good. Better go buy some watermelon from the store in the morning and she can start eating watermelon. She must eat it before she knows she's pregnant, and she won't know she's pregnant for one whole sim day. Now, apart from having lots of babies and going to work and toddler training and all those sort of things, Olivia has a desire to grow a forbidden fruit. Now, in order to get a forbidden fruit, she's going to need to use the science machine that came with university life, and she's also going to need a seed that she's going to put into that science machine and do gene splicing experiments. She'll keep doing gene splicing experiments until she finally ends up with a forbidden fruit seed. And once she's got that forbidden fruit seed, then she can plant it in her garden, and she'll take great care of it because it's a very precious thing to have. And after she's taken care of that forbidden fruit seed that she's planted in her garden, she will get one of 2 things out of it. she will either get a forbidden fruit or she will get a plant sim baby. Now, if she gets the forbidden fruit, she can do one of two things. She can eat it and turn herself into a plant sim, which we're not going to allow to happen because she doesn't have an heir yet. Although if she does get the heir, it wouldn't really matter. She could become a plant sim if she wants to. Or she could plant it again until she gets the plant sim baby. And when a plant sim baby grows, she has to pick it. And then she'll have another baby in the household. But it can't be the heir because it'll be a plant sim. And plant sims are green, with green hair. They're plants. There's no room upstairs for the science machine. So I've either got to add another room somewhere on the surface, or we could do what I have decided to do, that is expand the basement a little bit and put the science machine down there in the basement. And I thought I'd get a chemistry table as well, so they can be down there together. Don can be playing with the chemistry table while Olivia works at the science machine. Now, I'll get Don with the chemistry table because it may be necessary to age Olivia down, because if she gets too old before she gets an heir, she'll have to keep having babies or we won't be able to move on to the next generation. And the only way to do that will be to age her back down again. And there is a young again potion that you can make on the chemistry table, and that will make a sim back down to the beginning of the young adult stage. So I thought I'd get Don working on the chemistry table now, just in case, and they can have some young again potions in storage, just in case they might be needed at some stage. Because there's 7 potions and it can take a very long time to get the one you want, and sim weeks. So Don could be down there working on that chemistry table for a lot of the next few episodes. But he'll only be doing it, of course, when he's not looking after the toddlers. Sometimes when a sim is doing these gene splicing experiments, they get their forbidden fruit seed quite quickly. They might only need to do it 2 or 3 times before they get a forbidden fruit seed. Unfortunately, this is not what happens for poor Olivia. She's down here for days, so we're not going to actually watch the whole process, but we'll see a few bits of her while she's at it. But we better go back and take care of these toddlers. Looks like Owen's hungry. The other 2 have been reading their toddler books. I'm accustomed to working with large numbers of toddlers, and I've got it down to a bit of a routine. I get the parents or somebody to teach them to walk, talk and potty, and I also get them to do their peg box and xylophone skills before I start on the toddler books, the skill books. Now, the skill books are important because it helps you be able to choose their trait when they age up to child. And the other reason that they're important is because when they start learning other skills later on, such as cooking or painting or whatever, or writing, they will start at level 3 if they have done all of their toddler training and child training correctly. It looks like Gary's learnt the potty already because he just went there and used it by himself. With the toddler books, mostly I can just place them on the floor and the toddlers will read them when I tell them to. Often they will leave a book just before it's finished, so you do need to check to make sure they have read the book before you assume that it's done. There's so many times that you see them sitting there and they get the green bar up to the top, and then they'll go off and do something else and you think they've read the book, but they haven't. There's still about a millionth of a millimetre of space left to go up in that bar. You get them to sit down again. If they can still read the book, and that bar comes up above their heads, it'll usually explode and you'll get the message that they've learned all they can from the book. But you must make sure they've read the entire book for them to get any benefit at all from reading the book at all. Now we've got Olivia there and she's eating her watermelon. So this means that we should have a baby girl from this pregnancy. She won't eat any more watermelon. She's eaten enough pieces now. Then she can go back down and continue working on the science machine. Of course, just because it's going to be a baby girl doesn't mean it's going to be an heir. The heir can be a baby boy. It's whichever baby she has that inherits her hair and eye colour. I just wanted a girl because I didn't want a house full of baby boys. That's all. I was being a little bit prejudiced. Hey, we've got a ghost in the nursery and he's standing there reading. It looks like Owen's been put into the playpen. They can learn extra skills in the playpen. I don't know if they're much use to them, but they can learn them. At least we don't have any cowards in this household at the moment, so nobody's fainting every time the ghosts appear, which is fortunate. We seem to have a different ghost just about every day. Some of them come back again. Olivia's not too thrilled at the moment. She'll probably go outside later and have an argument with that ghost. She likes to insult them. She must have been out in the garden playing in the sprinklers to be wearing her bikini. It's the middle of winter, there's snow outside. Don't understand this. And she's got quite a good looking figure at the moment, considering she's just had 3 babies and she's expecting the 4th. You see, that's why she's eaten the watermelon today. Tomorrow she will have a baby bump. But today she still doesn't know she's pregnant. And you must eat the watermelon for a girl or apples for a boy if you want to affect the gender of the baby that she's going to have. So she's gone outside into the snow to meet up with a friend. This is one of her work friends. It's obviously dropped by to see how she's going. She hasn't been to work for ages now. Not since the last baby was born. They're going to make a snowman together. That looks like fun. But you see what I mean about this being middle of winter and it's cold outside, and there she was indoors in her bikini. I didn't see her playing in the sprinklers, so I'm not sure why she was in that. I do have autonomy turned onto high, so they do all sorts of things without me knowing it. So that's a classic snowman. I'm trying to get them to get a winter gnome. They've got the summer gnome, but they haven't got a winter gnome. Here we are. She's confronting the ghost in the garden, obviously insulting him. This is the table that I use for them to have birthdays on when the babies are born now. It's outside. It's an outdoor room. So now what? Oh, they're going to do something in the snow. We go from having an argument to having a friendly chat, then we go to build a snowman together. You never can quite know what a Sim's going to get up to next sometimes. Now what sort of snowman are they going to build? Looks like that ghost must have died by electrocution or something. I'll have to check on that coloured ghost and just see. Aha, another classic snowman. So now she's making a snow angel. To get a winter gnome, I think you've got to do lots of snowmen and snow angels and igloos and things in your yard. I've never had any success getting them this way, but that's what the story is that I've read many times. That's what they like, what attracts them. I've had them just turn up, but I have never had one come after my Sim has actually filled the yard with snowmen and snow angels and igloos. It doesn't seem to have any effect. But we can try. And since we're going to go for 10 generations, and I'm going to keep them all... Oh, well, we're going to put the igloo to use. We're going to have all 10 generations in this house, I hope. So maybe we'll get a wintertime gnome at some point. Paparazzi are always around. The house has grown a bit, looks nice with the lights hanging off it. That's the nursery at the back. And you can just see the little greenhouse roof poking up behind there. It will continue to expand as the family expands. Remember, I've got a mod, or several mods, that when you put them together will allow me to have large numbers of Sims. We're not stuck to having 8 Sims in the household, so I won't have to move all of the children out. I can keep them there if I want to. And I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. I'll just make it up as we go along. But I think that this is getting very close to the end of the video. So I will wind it up here and say thank you for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. And I will see you in the next video when, hopefully, we'll have a new baby being born. And it will be a little girl, if the watermelon trick worked. Bye bye for now and happy simming.